Okay, today we are going to look at how to do progress monitoring for Texas history. So there are two parts to progress monitoring for Texas history. We will have what's called a group test or a group quiz that you will complete first for most of your assessments, and your teacher will walk you through that. And then we have the actual progress monitoring, which is your individual analysis for the second part. So we're going to be looking at the second part today. So the individual progress monitoring is something that we are going to do after every assessment that we take in Texas history. In 6th grade, you have done this before, and in 8th grade, you will do it again next year. So this isn't going away. But we are going to look at how to analyze our assessments after we take them so we can reflect on them, we can set some goals for ourselves, and then make a plan of action about how we're going to accomplish that goal to improve next time on the next assessment that we take. So if you will look at today, which is Wednesday, October 14th, or it might be on Thursday, depending on when you're in class for the block day. And if you click on the assignment down here that actually says the Progress Monitoring Missions Quiz. So remember last week you took the missions quiz in class through Mastery Connect. So you're going to be analyzing this missions quiz today. So go ahead and open up this assignment. And you will notice that it is due October 16th by midnight. So you're going to be submitting this back to your teacher by midnight on the 16th, which is Friday. So you have today in class to work through it, and then if you don't finish anything, then you need to get that complete and submitted by the 16th. So go ahead and open up this document. You will notice that you will need to file this paper in your analysis folder. Remember, in your Google Drive, you created a test analysis folder. Make sure you put all of your test analysis, all of your progress monitoring will go in that analysis folder. So go ahead and open that up. You need to make a copy. Okay, so there are 4 different sections to this progress monitoring. You will not be doing all 4. You will do a max of 3 different sections. It depends on where your grade fell, and you're going to see that as we work through this to depend on what sections you'll actually need to complete. So not only do you need to have this up in front of you, you also need to pull up your Mastery Connect test. So if you log into Mastery Connect through the portal and pull up your Unit 2 missions quiz, okay, then you can see the answers that you put, you can see the grade that you received on your quiz, and you're going to need that kind of side by side as you work through this document. So as you can see on this document, the first thing you're going to do for section 1, and everybody is completing section 1, is if you read the directions, it says in the columns below, highlight the question numbers you answered correctly in green. You answered them correctly. So if you got them right and you got the points for that, you are going to highlight that number green. Okay. As you are working through this, you know, we're not going to highlight what you missed in red or anything like that, only in green. So let's pretend, I'm going to give you the example. If I were to take this, let's say that I got numbers 2 and number 4 right. So I'm going to highlight green, and I'm going to highlight number 4 in green. So let's say I got those correct. So since I got those 2 correct, I've highlighted them here, okay? And you're going to do that for all of the questions. So if you got all 10 of them right, you highlight every single question number, okay? Okay, then I'm going to continue to walk you through this. One thing I want to point out are these are your standards. These are the standards that you are required to know for Texas history. This is set by the state of Texas. These are the TEKS that we teach. And as you can see, we have covered all of these prior to your quiz. So some of them are pretty lengthy. For example, if you look at 1B, it's talking not only about certain dates of the mapping of the Texas coast, which was 1519 with Pineda, but also the first settlement and the founding of San Antonio, so 1718. All right, we're going to talk more about these different dates as the year goes on. So don't worry so much about that. Just read through these standards and make sure that, oh yeah, we did talk about that. We talked about Texas and its people and the mission system and the age of contact. And then move on to the self-analysis. Now, the self-analysis is basically you're looking at your reporting category. So reporting category, there are 4. You have history, geography and culture, government and citizenship, economics, science, technology, and society. There are these 4 reporting categories for social studies in 6th, 7th, and 8th grade. So these do not change. So to find your reporting category, these are the kind of gray boxes up at the top of here. So reporting category 1, reporting category 2, and as you can see, they coincide with these down here below. So what you're going to do is you're going to have the total number of questions for reporting category 1. So to double check, I can count. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And then there are 2 for geography and culture, number 9 and number 10. So that's why there's a number 2 in this blank. There's nothing on this quiz about government citizenship or economic, science, technology, and society. There might be later on when we do progress monitoring, but for this particular assessment, there is not. So what you need to do is it says you are going to figure out how well you did for the reporting category. So overall for history, how well did you do? Overall for geography, how well did you do? So to do that, it says divide the number correct by the total number of questions and then fill in the chart based on the reporting category. So let's pretend again that I got number 2 and number 4 right, but I missed everything else for this reporting category. So that means that I got, how many correct? Would be 2. And then I would divide the total number of questions on the reporting category and the total I got correct. So I would divide this number, total correct, by the total number. As it says here, divide the total correct by total number. So I'm going to divide 2 divided by 8 is 0.25. And I know as a percentage, 0.25 translates to 25%. Okay? And then I would do the same thing down here for reporting category 2. Okay, then I'm going to look at my power standards. So this part right here says power standards, and if I had power standards, they would be filled out and you would do the same thing. On this assessment, there's not any power standards. If there were, they would be indicated here and on this chart. So nothing is going to go on this chart for right now. Section number 2 is also going to be filled out. But notice, these are your reflection questions, and this is only for standards I missed. Keyword is going to be standard, not question, standard. So the standard, or the TEK, remember, is the 1A, 1B, 2C, 18C. So if we're using my example, the ones I missed, okay, so number 5, I didn't get right, and that's the only question for this standard. So I would take 1A and the standard itself, and I would copy it and put it down here. Okay, and then it would fill this chart. What are the test question numbers that went along with this? For this one is number 5. So I would write number 5. Okay, and then the question says, think about why you answered it incorrectly and explain what might have happened. So I'm going to look at number 5 on Mastery Connect, and I'm going to read number 5 again to myself and decide, why did I answer this incorrectly? Was it something that I didn't understand? Was it a vocabulary that I didn't understand? Was it I got confused? What was it? What was the problem? Okay, and so I'm going to explain what happened over here in this box. Things that we do not want to see in this box are things like, I didn't know it, or I was confused, or it didn't make sense. Okay, that's not a thorough answer. That has nothing really, that's not telling me or you as an individual what really happened. Tell us what happened. Why did you miss it? Not just you didn't understand it. Well, why did you not understand it? What did you not understand? Okay, so be more descriptive. So you're going to do that for the standards that you missed. So I would also continue to do standard 2C and 18C because I didn't get either of those right either. So I would do the same thing on this chart. Now, let's say I got 100 on my assessment. So I don't have any standards for section 2 because I didn't miss any standard. I got 100. So that part, if you got 100, then you would skip section 2. Everyone else, you need to complete it thoroughly. Then we get into section 3. So section 3 and 4 is based upon your grade on your quiz or your assessment. So section 3 says this section is only to be completed by students who scored an 89 or below on the entire assessment. So if I made an 89 or below on the entire assessment, then I complete section 3. And I do not complete section 4 because section 4 says this is only to be completed by students who scored 90% or higher. So if you made an 89 or below, you do section 3. If you made a 90 or higher, you only do section 4. So you have to look at your overall grade and see where you fell on your grade. So you will either do 3 or section 4, not both. 3 or 4. So keep that in mind. So for me, if I miss 2 out of 10, that is an 80. And so therefore I made below an 89. So I would be completing section number 3. So I'm going to walk you through what to do for this. So this is your action plan. It says what is your plan of action to help strengthen your areas of weakness? What steps do you plan to take to reach your goal? Answer the questions below in 3 or 4 sentences. So if there is a chart here, and I'm going to answer these questions in 3 to 4 sentences each. So it says, again, what do you consider your topics of strength based on this assessment? So topics. Topics include the overall arching theme of the unit. So for the missions quiz, a topic would be location of the missions, the purpose of the mission system, the events leading to the mission system, Spanish culture in Texas. Those would be your topics. So I would answer what my strengths were to 3 to 4 sentences, and what are topics of weakness. So again, if I didn't do so well on standard 1B, I might have trouble following the significance of certain dates. So that might be a topic is, I didn't understand the dates of the mission system, and so that confused me whenever it came to answering questions on my test because I didn't realize that I needed to know the era or the time period would be an appropriate answer. Then it goes, how are you planning to improve upon your topics of weakness? So things we do not want to see. I don't want to see study more. Study a day before the test. Review with my mom. No, it needs to be more thorough than that. Okay, same thing with when are you going to put in the additional time to study. You have to provide examples of when are you going to do this. To improve, it has to be done outside of school. You can't just count on class time to improve. So when are you going to do that? And then why is it important to be reflective? Make sure you're thorough in your answers. It is not just a one-word answer. It is not just study more. So be sure you are thorough. If you scored higher than a 90, then you would do section 4. So either 3 or 4. Similar questions here. What is your strengths, topics of strength? And then it says, what is struggle for your assessment? Even if you made 100, you still struggled in some capacity. So maybe it was time management prior to the test of studying. Maybe it was something during the assessment that just kind of threw you for a loop. So it says nothing is not accepted. So do not write nothing as an answer here. You have to have a thorough sentence. The last piece of this is the extension activity. So you will choose one of your highest scoring standards and create a lesson to teach to a fellow classmate. So you have to choose a way to present this. It can be a Quizlet, a slideshow, written response, video, or Google Drawing. You need to enter the standard that you chose here, and then you will link in the lesson that you're going to teach to your fellow classmate down here below. Okay, so again, sections 1 through 4 Depending on how you scored for sections 3 and 4 will depend on which ones that you actually complete. Thank you.